Did you know that from 2009 to 2019, there was a 7.7 increase in teenage depression? Likewise, 20% of teenagers, as well as almost 50% of young adults, have dealt with at least one mental health disorder, if not more. 33.3% of teens have shown signs of or been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder, and total suicide rates have gone up by 30% between 2000 and 2020. This is something that must be stopped. That's why I want to go into counseling. When I was in 6th grade, I was diagnosed with ADHD, which along with the genetics put me at a higher risk for depression and anxiety. Once I was diagnosed, I started seeing a counselor who 2 years later diagnosed me with both depression and anxiety. Counseling was detrimental not only to the latter two, but also to learning ways around ADHD. Mental health disorders are heavily common in this day and age, and counseling is essential when treating them because it makes one feel less alone, helps provide new perspectives, and helps with the management of mental disorders, and it should be accessible to anyone. When you find the right counselor, they can be like your best friend. One big struggle when dealing with mental health disorders is that you feel alone and like nobody understands. By going into therapy, you immediately have someone in your corner. Whether it's to give advice or just listen, you have somebody who understands what you're going through, whether they've been through it before or know enough about what's going on to be able to help. Counselors have to go through a lot of training before being able to practice. As a counselor, you can't practice until you have a license. Some schools, like Judson's college, offer advanced programs, so I'll get my master's and my license in 5 years. But for most, like my cousin's friend, it'll take 6. 4 years of regular college and then 2 in the master's program. The training that counselors go through helps provide knowledge about what you're going through. Also with that, most people have experienced or have someone close to them who have experienced a mental health disorder. Personally, going into therapy gave me someone I could talk to. My counselor listened and knew what I needed to hear, but said it in a kind and loving way. There was no one else in my life who did this the way she did, so without her, I would have felt like I had no one. Even though people around me had or were going through some of the things I was, no one truly understood it until I went into counseling. My counselor was the only reason I didn't feel truly alone when I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety. Mental health disorders make you feel like no one is there, but when in counseling, you immediately have someone to help you guide through the storm. A second thing counseling helps with is providing a new perspective. When you're in the midst of the storm, you see no way out and things start to get hazy. The fog is thick, and you can't see the situation when you're in the middle of it. The counselor stands on the outside and can see what's happening and how to get out. They're like a lighthouse, guiding the ship to shore when they can't see through the rain. Your counselor can see the whole situation because they are emotionally connected to it. Therefore, it makes it easier to see a way out or a clear decision that needs to be made. Emotions cloud your mind, especially strong ones. Counselors help introduce logic into the cycle and bring up points that you might not have seen because you don't have the full picture. My mom and I tend to butt heads, so when I'm in the midst of an argument, I can't see her side. When I talk to my counselor about it, she can see the other side as well as mine. My emotions cloud me from seeing where another person is coming from, but it doesn't cloud my counselor's judgment. She knows what's happening and can tell me what my mom probably meant this, not that. She can tell me things I'm not seeing, which gives me a new perspective on the whole situation. My counselor is also a believer, so she can speak truth to me through scripture. She's helped me through a lot of emotions by giving me verses to consider as well. Counseling is detrimental when dealing with emotional situations because the counselor can shine new light on something hard to see from one's own viewpoint. Finally, counseling is imperative when learning how to manage a disorder. There are so many strategies that can be helpful, but sometimes you need help to see them. Counselors can help teach you how to deal with things. There are multiple ways, but a counselor who knows you can give you the best for you personally. One technique I was given for my anxiety is when I start to panic, I put a pen in front of my face. It sounds stupid, but I switch my focus from the pen to something behind it. For example, I hold up this pen and focus on it, then I focus on my laptop. I go back and forth until the panic is gone. Before we realized I had depression, I would get really angry over the smallest things and lash out at my friends and family, mostly my family. She had me make a safe spot in my room where I would go to calm down and bring myself back to reality by engaging my senses. I had lotion to engage my sense of smell, mints for taste, blankets to touch, and music to hear. It helped me because I basically reset my senses, which helped control my emotions. These strategies were not something that I could have come up with by myself. She helped me not bottle my emotions by giving me healthy ways to let them out. By making me keep a journal, she helped me realize that my favorite way to process my emotions is through writing music. Instead of writing sentences in the notebook, I wrote lyrics. It's still something I use to help me not bottle what I'm going through. I still write music today, and even though I don't always share it, it helps me express what I'm going through in a conducive way. When my dad got sick, I wrote a song called Daddy's Girl, which was about how even if he passed, I would always be his little girl and try my hardest to make him proud. I've written songs about breakups, fight with friends, and so many other things. My counselor was detrimental in helping me deal with so many things. I didn't find these strategies on my own. She gave me an entire tool belt of things to use to help me, and without that tool belt, I wouldn't have grown as much as I have, if at all. Counseling should be accessible to anyone and everyone. It's something that can save lives and should be offered in every church, shelter, and workplace for free. From the wealthy businessman to the homeless mother of two begging on the streets, counseling should be an option for everyone who is suffering, which, in all honesty, is all of us. Sometimes we fight the hardest battles alone, but with easy access to counselors, that doesn't need to happen. The safe place it provides should be something everyone can enjoy. I want to specialize in teens and adults because that is where I struggle the most. I want to speak life into people through the gospel, just like my counselor did for me. I might not be able to save everyone, but I want to try and save as many as I can from the deep hole untreated mental health disorders can send you into, because I've been there. That hole is dark, lonely, and filled with despair. That pit shouldn't be an option anymore, which is why I'm passionate about accessible counseling. The light feels so far away, and counselors can reflect that light and bring it closer through their training. I chose to go into counseling for all the people like me. It's something I'm passionate about because it's hard to find a good counselor. I was lucky because she was only the second one I went to. The first one, however, was incredibly cold and calculating. I felt like I was on trial, and I didn't feel safe at all. Providing a safe space for people is one of my greatest goals. I want to be someone who can help me the way my counselor helped me, who can help other people the way my counselor helped me. The only reason I'm still here today is because of her. She's been helping me grow for a long time. I wouldn't have made it through so many things if I didn't have her backing me. She gave me a safe space to talk about the things I never told anyone. She gave me different ways to look at the worst parts in life. She gave me strategies that helped me in so many ways, ranging from focus techniques to how to stop an anxiety attack to how to deal with my grief. She gave me a place I didn't have to be strong, and that made me who I am today. She gave me strategies that I wouldn't have found on my own, and I want to give that to someone else, which is why I'm so passionate about the importance of counseling and for everyone to have access to it, and something that can save and change lives, which is what I've dedicated my professional career to. I can't wait to be able to help people even a fraction of the amount that my counselor helped me. It's not only my passion, but something that God truly called me to, and I can't wait to get started.